Hi everyone, welcome back to the vlog. I just finished up the craziest couple of weeks ever, and I want to give you guys a recap and just kind of catch up a little bit because I think we are long overdue. So this past weekend was the other art fair, and I've been doing the other art fair for this is my third year that I've done it, and this was the most successful year I have ever had. And I've gotten so many DMs from people asking me, one, how to get into the other art fair, how is like the application process, and then two, how to have a successful fine art fair, which is very different than having a successful like renegade or craft fair. And if that's what you're more so interested in, I have a vlog about renegade and craft fairs that you can find. But I wanted this one in particular to be how to have a great fine art fair. So this other art fair, I was able to make over $12,000, which is, I just want to be very transparent with you guys about the pricing, because in previous vlogs I've been very uncomfortable and weary about sharing how much I've made from fairs, but I've learned I gain the most knowledge and I learn the most when creators and artists are really open about exactly how much they're making. And I think it kind of can be a little bit uncomfortable for me to talk about, but I really don't want to see it as that way. I want this to come across as educational, as helpful, and hopefully something that inspires you to kind of, take the jump and try out a fine art fair for yourself. So to give you guys a little bit of background, I think the very first other art fair I did, which was pretty early into my career, I think I made, maybe $5,000, I can't recall. I think the second one I made a little bit more than that, maybe 5.5, and then this one was significantly much higher than that. And I have learned so much through doing these fairs over the past 3 years. I want to share that all with you guys. And I think what's important to note about the other fair is it is sponsored by Saatchi & Saatchi, if I'm not mistaken. I hope I'm not wrong with that. So it's a prestigious art fair, and with that you have to apply in order to participate. So the application process works by, you just fill out like a Google form with a bunch of different questions, and then you have to submit, I believe it is 6 to 8 pieces of examples of work you plan on sharing at the fair. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the exact pieces, although I do like to include a few of the exact pieces I plan on bringing, but kind of a good, how do I say this, collection of pieces that will give the judges a good understanding of what you're going to bring to the fair. I usually hear back pretty quickly about getting into the fair, and it's so exciting. Like my first time getting in, I couldn't believe it. I was so proud of myself because it was such a big goal for me. And every year I still get in. I am just so thankful because it is such a great opportunity. With all that being said, it is a hefty fee to be part of this art fair. If I'm not mistaken, I think my final cost was around $2,000 to participate in this fair. And I know that's really expensive, and I have to do like a lot of planning and saving before I do a fair this expensive, but to me it is worth it because I've had so many great connections made through this event. I've met incredible artists, and these have been like long-lasting connections. I have art in one of the most renowned restaurants in Washington, D.C. because the owner came to the other art fair last year and purchased 2 of my pieces. And now he is like a lifelong connection, and I hope to sell more art to him in the future. So it is a big fee to apply, but if you get in, I think it is really worth it, especially if you're in Chicago. I know the Brooklyn show is also really good too. I am not too sure about other cities, but I know Chicago is always really great. I think what makes a strong application is really showing that you're owning a style, that you're owning your style. I think that's what the judges really want to see. I know it's important to experiment, but this is a very prestigious art fair, so you want to show that like you have this signature style, you have this original flair to your work, and these are like the 5 pieces that really encompass and embody that. So I think showing a series would actually be really smart in your application, maybe showing 1 series and then 1 more experimental side to your work. I think that would be really great. But this is your chance to really showcase your best work, anything that you're most proud of. I necessarily wouldn't showcase as much experimental things. I think this is really an opportunity for you to show any work you're like, wow, I am so proud that I made this. So let's say you get accepted into the other art fair. A couple of weeks before the show, you will be notified where your placement is, what floor you're on, and your booth number. I can't stress enough, the most important things you need to bring with you are wood screws, because you cannot nail into the walls, and a really good drill. And don't forget measuring tape, a leveler, and I would recommend like a T ruler, something that can ensure that your lines are level. That's really all you need, if I'm being completely transparent. And it took me a couple of years and tries to like figure out my perfect toolbox, but I've tried different screws in the past. They need to be wood screws or else it's just not gonna work with the walls. And I think something really good to remember, and the fair does a good job at like prepping you for this, but try to curate your space to not be too overly crowded. I did do that last year. I think I had too many pieces and it was a little bit overwhelming and people didn't know where to look. So kind of shoot for eye level. Don't go too low, don't go too high, and don't worry about filling every ounce of your space. It actually looks best when you have some breathing room and keep a couple of inches between your pieces. So don't get overwhelmed when you see this giant blank wall. Like, you will be able to fill it, don't worry. Being this is a fine art fair, you are there to sell fine art, aka original pieces of work, your paintings, but this also includes fine art prints. And this is something I think is so slept on. I swear so many Chicago artists have started selling fine art prints because of me, because I've told them to start doing this, because that is truly the moneymaker for me. You have to kind of remember that a variety of people, a variety of art collectors are coming to this fair. You have people whose budgets, and this is rare, are like $10,000. And then you have the more everyday person who can afford maybe $100, or even better, they would love like a $65 print. So I try to approach every fair with many access points, because my art, I want it to be for everyone. And I know some other artists maybe don't agree with that, but personally, I don't want just my art to be accessible to these high-end collectors. I want it to be accessible to them, and then like people my age who are just starting out in their own apartments and who are looking to save money but want to add some personalities to their home and apartments. Like, that's also who I really want to attract. So I think that is so important to keep in mind. Like, you need to price accordingly to attract all these different types of potential buyers. I cannot even tell you how many prints I sold this past weekend. I lost count, but it was hundreds and hundreds of prints, and I always make sure to make so many prints because I know those go quick. Those like fly off the shelves for me. So of course it makes sense for me to bring these prints to this fair. And even though it is a fine art fair, these are still fine art prints, and a lot of these prints are also pictures of the paintings I have on display. So again, it's like that entryway into my art. If you can't afford the $800 original, you probably can't afford the $65 print. So that's just really important to keep in mind. And also, I think it just kind of makes for a really great experience for the customer at your booth, because if you have like a nice setup, I highly recommend those print racks, which I had one of those, and then also little print standing shelves where people can kind of sort through your prints. This offers just a little escape for your customers to enjoy your booth longer, to spend a little bit more time there and not feel pressured to just like look at the paintings and then walk right by. This is gonna also create more conversation. I always get so many questions from people asking about the prints. So I think this is like a great way to create a lot of buzz around your booth. I did sell 11 original paintings this fair, which was incredible. I think I sold like 3 my last one, but I think what made such a big difference this year is I brought a series of 5 paintings, and all of the 5 paintings like belong to the same series. It was these oil pastel rabbits with a couple of like doodles and my signature, you know, stars and hearts in them and stuff, and they were sized at 10 by 10, and they just flew off the shelf because again, it was part of a series, and there's some people who wanted to buy 2 of them, or some people that wanted to buy 3 of them. So I think this is really smart to have a series of something in a smaller size, which is therefore going to be at a more affordable price point. This is a great way to just kind of get your work off the wall, and I think that was really successful for me. The third most important thing that I learned this year was building your mailing list. That is so crucial when you are at these events. It is just an opportunity to add all of these emails, all these potential future customers to your mailing list. If social media goes away, and we all know TikTok went away once, it might even go away again this month, who knows, like that is why it is so important to capture emails so you have a direct way to reach out to customers so they can still keep in touch with you. It is so hard even for me to remember people's Instagram usernames. Like if I want to find them and look at their art, I can't remember their usernames. But if I see their email pop up in my box, in my inbox, I will remember them obviously and check out their work. So what I did this year, which I still haven't seen the results of this, I'm gonna look at it probably after this vlog, but I made a little contest, and you can't really see here, but I'll post a picture of it here. But basically all it was asking people to join my mailing and SMS. So all they had to do was scan this QR code. And if they did that, they would be entered to win a free print of their choosing. So people were so excited to do that. I had a ton of people scanning this and joining my mailing list. I don't have the final numbers on that, but I will report back, but I know it was a hit. So please do not forget to capture emails when you are at these fairs. That is like the most important thing I can tell you guys to do. The fourth thing that I learned this year was to bring more business cards than you could ever imagine. I printed, I think, over 1,000, maybe even 2,000, I don't remember, business cards, because they should be flying off the shelves. You should be handing them out to people. You should have them displayed at a table next to your prints. You should have them in like a little business card holder that you can like drill or attach to your wall. That's what I did this year, and it was such a game changer. You just want at least 2 touch points somewhere in your booth where people can grab a business card, and also where you can hand out business cards, because sometimes people might be uncomfortable like coming up to you and asking for one, but if they see one out on a table, that's just a really great opportunity to get your name out there, get your business out there. Even if people did not purchase anything like right then and there, they have your business card in their back pocket, and that's a win. Also making like really good quality business cards. I think I have one. Yeah, I do. I have one that I can show you guys. I make mine from Moo, and I have gotten so many comments and compliments on how incredible my business cards are, and I'm obsessed with them. So they are thick. They are like on thick cardstock, which I love. And on the front, let's see if this will focus. It has my bunny, my name, a couple of cute little doodles, a red trim along the side, and then the most important part is all of my information right here. I know that art fairs are a huge feat. Like, they are exhausting. After every single fair I do, but especially the other art fair, I am like down for the count for a few days. Like, it is exhausting. It's a long fair. It is Thursday to Sunday, so that's long, but it is so worth it. I adore the Chicago Other Art Fair. If you're watching this and you're an artist from Chicago, please apply if you're interested. Like, just give it a shot and see what happens. And if you're an artist who's not from Chicago but is really looking to participate in a great art fair, I can't recommend this art fair enough. I think they are great. Something important though I do want to add though is they do take 18% of what you make, so use that to price accordingly. I think that's really important. So you want to account for that 18% that the fair does take, but all of the 18% goes back into the fair and making it even better than the year before. So I hope this was helpful. This is gonna be like a quick little video. I'm hoping to get this up tonight, but this is just kind of like fresh on my brain. So these are all of my best tips so you can have a really successful fine art fair. If you guys have any questions, please leave them below and I'll try to answer all of them. And I'll see you guys in the next vlog.